but it's also good to like be a giver and have content available online and have an authority, because this person then had to make the choice or not to contact me. And what the person did was to go on my profile, look at my content, look at what I post, how I am, and so on. And then this gave her the desire to actually make the step to write me, you know?
Right. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed that. The start of my Exploring Creativity podcast. So this is the April Will Show, and I want to welcome you. Thank you for watching or listening wherever you're from. And I just want to let you know that this podcast is really to know more about creativity, about different creatives, whether they're in content creation or other spheres of creativity, and what they do to be successful, and even if they're growing, things that we can learn from. So today I'm excited to welcome my friend Aurelie. It's like she is French, so her name is pronounced like in English Aurelie or really something like that. I'm still like getting used to it. But thank you so much for being here. You can call her Aurie as well.
Yes, thanks for having me. Yeah, the trick for my name is thinking about, oh, really? Um, so yeah. But by the way, I'm French speaker, but I'm from Belgium. So from the French speaking part of Belgium.
Okay, yes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're very welcome. And I'm so excited to have you here because I really wanted to talk about your creativity within your business, because you are an English teacher for French speakers, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, and I see that you have posted a lot on LinkedIn in order to attract your customers and to network. And I find it so amazing. In fact, I've learned from it as well, and I'm using some of your strategies, copying some of them, and I've told you openly. And I just wanted to, ask you more about it, to share with anyone who would like to use LinkedIn to market, to network, different things like that. I wanted to start with asking you, how do you use LinkedIn to get clients?
All right. Well, first of all, I would say I'm aware and conscious that LinkedIn is a great tool to attract clients. And the way I do it is through content, and in marketing, maybe you would call it inbound marketing, even though I'm not really a marketer. But I'm trying to, first of all, create a community, attract my client, talk to my client, being visible through LinkedIn. Also share a lot. I use this platform to share my knowledge, my tips, also so I can also be an authority in my field and really have my profile visible out there. And really, I think I use LinkedIn to give, first of all, to give as much as possible. And then people may contact me through my profile, but I can also sometimes myself contact people who are interested in what I'm posting and trying to see if I can help them, if they are interested in hearing what I can offer. And it's really learning to create a community and listen to the needs of others through LinkedIn. I hope that makes sense.
It does. And while you were just explaining some things, I just wanted to show your profile because it's actually really awesome, the things that you can see here. Like you can see that you're not just talking about your business, but even your lifestyle, like as a musician, which we're going to get into a little later because overall you are creative. So yeah, your music, I see that you are even posting polls, which work well on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm trying to use a variety of things, of tools, to show myself as a professional, like as an English coach, but also who I am, because at the end of the day, we work with people. It's all about creating relationship. So I want people also to get to know me and to see if they would be comfortable working with me, if we share values, if we are vibing together at the end of the day. So I'm trying through my content to reflect all these aspects. Yeah, my identity, my values, my beliefs, my dream, my vision of life, and my skills as a professional.
Wow. So yeah, I like that you are actually you actually recognize the social aspect of, social media. And even though LinkedIn is more geared towards professionals and a professional place, I see that you also recognize that you are still working with people. So you show your personality as well as your professional aspects and different work, which I appreciate, and I think it's something that's useful for even me just thinking about, okay, what I want to post on LinkedIn. It's not just talking about creativity or content creation. I can talk about myself and what I like to do.
Yeah, your lifestyle, what you think is relevant, what can inspire others, or how you can connect to other, because that's how we connect, right? To people when we see, oh, I'm also interested in that. I love music, or I love the way you think, and I feel like I can connect to that person. And the other day on LinkedIn, I read a quite a interesting, I would say, tip to get to know the borderline between not revealing too much, let's say, or things that are not appropriate. You need to think, the people that I know that know me well, if they see this post, would they recognize me or not? These people who really know your personality and what you transmit. Because you also have the danger that I'm observing, maybe, or seeing on LinkedIn, of being over dramatic or emotional just for the buzz, but that can also harm your business, because at the end of the day, it's a professional business as well, and your image, because we are trying to build a brand, right, online, and we also need to be careful. And I'm learning to find this balance.
I love that. I really love that. So you're even talking about the boundaries with posting online, because that is important. Even though we would love to share different aspects of our lives, we have to recognize that these are still available to people that we won't know most of the time, and we have to think about how to protect ourselves while also being bold. So it's a good balance to think about.
Yeah, we need to be aware of that. Yeah.
And can we go into like what started this journey of using LinkedIn as a source of, marketing your business, and how did you find out that it would actually be a good platform for you to use?
All right. Well, at the end of last year, I was working on my business, really my vision. Who do I want to work with? Who do I want to help? I was actually doing that uh, work with also a business coach. And as I was defining, getting to know, discovering my ideal client, I've realized that this client may be on LinkedIn, but also on Facebook. And I've tried both platforms, like for like a month or so. I had a test. I was just trying posting um, many different formats and things. And I've realized actually that I have a personal preference for LinkedIn, because it's a professional platform. And at the end of the day, I'm there for business, if I have to be honest, to find clients, to become more visible, to connect. But it's, I really, yeah, I'm going there for professional reasons. And I like that about LinkedIn, because we all know the mindset we are in. It's normal for me to talk about what I do, about my job on LinkedIn. And I don't know, for me, it resonates with me, with how I want to work. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to explore other platforms, but to start with, I thought it was a good start compared to Facebook, because Facebook, sometimes people I don't know. We're not on the same page. It's like you're posting something and people are like, "Oh, you're cute," but I'm not posting to be cute. You know what I mean? Like random people. I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, there was still a challenge for me, Facebook, to kind of figure out the balance between connecting and being professional. Whereas there, we know what people are there for, kind of.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I like that. It's like you saw that here I have more focus and it's more specific, right? To what
exactly.
I want to achieve. I understand like with other platforms you can be professional, but there's a mixture of what you can get really on different platforms. But with LinkedIn, you definitely know that you are going there for professional reasons. And even if people use it for other things, it just still doesn't work as well because you just know that, okay, I'm going here for this reason, for networking, for finding jobs, or to grow my business, to find clients. And I'm really curious to know, as much as you'd like to share, like how has it worked for you? Do you get to network and to find people who want to work with you to for you to teach them?
Yeah. Well, first, it has worked well as a platform to network, like just people getting to know that I am an English coach, that this service is available, learning about that. So to be concrete, it has given me some leads, so people who were interested in working with me. Um, so that's quite positive. Or people who are observing me from afar and then they don't really like or interact, but every now and then I receive a message saying like they really find the content useful for them, and maybe in the near future when they are not busy, they would like to work with me. So future leads maybe, let's say. And I've got also my first client, premium clients, because now I offer a premium coaching service that I've launched at the beginning of this year, and I got my first one through LinkedIn. Um,
Wow.
so that's
Congrats.
nice. Thank you. So, like, I'm growing, let's say, slowly but surely on LinkedIn, trying to learn how it works. Yeah, how to reach out to my client, to my ideal client, so we may find each other. That the person that needs me may find me. And yeah, um, I hope that answer your question. And also, networking is really the key, because the new client that I got through LinkedIn is through a recommendation on LinkedIn of
Right.
someone who doesn't need my service but recommended me to that person. So the power of networking is crazy,
Mhm.
on LinkedIn. So you never know. Maybe you are there visible to a certain audience that is not your target, but these people, they may recommend you to um, their contact. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's for sure. Really cool that you got your first premium customer and it wasn't even like direct, at least at the beginning. It was from someone else recommending you. That's really awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
just like wishing you so much more success in the future. And
And if
I
I'm
want to. Mhm.
no, I just wanted to add something, but it's also good to like be a giver and have content available online and have an authority, because this person then had to make the choice or not to contact me. And what the person did was to go on my profile, look at my content, look at what I post, how I am, and so on. And then this gave her the desire to actually make the step to write me.
Mhm.
So everything contributes and work together, all the different efforts you do on LinkedIn. So to people who are like starting to post or having only a few posts online, these are still seen, even if you may have like one like. But people will have a look, and I don't know, it may influence their choice or not to contact you.
Wow. So in essence, like don't give up. because eventually, like, you will see the fruit of your labor, even if at the beginning you're not really seeing a lot of activity or engagement. People will, in retrospect or retroactively, I should say, come and look at what you've been doing before.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And I want to go into a little bit of tips that you can give us for creative strategies because I'd love to learn. But before we do that, I wanted to let you know that, that's watching or listening, that I am starting a Patreon account. So if you like to support and to help my podcast to grow, because I really want to be able to have more guests and to upgrade and to do more things. So if you'd like to support, I will leave the link in the bio. And with the Patreon, it's not just you supporting, you're going to be getting back as well because I'm working on some content that will be helpful for you as a content creator or a creative, just to help you streamline the process of you getting your content out there. So different tools, different strategies that you can use, different things like that, and even more access to live features like this. So while we're recording, you can have access live and even ask your questions, that you may have. So check that out. And I look forward to just knowing more about you and having your support. Okay, so Ari, so can you let us know about some creative strategies we can use on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn is becoming more creative in different things that they show people. So yeah.
All right. Well, I think one first advice I may give to our listeners is first getting to really know what's your vision, where are you heading? And really take the time to think, why are you doing what you do? What are your values? Like, who are you? Because communicating is communicating about yourself, right? And also being authentic, because in LinkedIn you have many voices, and it's important to take the time to think about how my voice can be recognized, and how do you want to communicate your message. And I think this will help you to be creative. And this is a journey. It's not a reason to procrastinate and think for 1 month how my voice is going to resonate online. No, we need to take action.
For sure.
And as we do it, I've realized that the more I do it, the more creative I become. Like I may start with some ideas and then I try something and I see, oh, this works well or this doesn't. How can I adjust it? How can I make it better? And with that mindset, I feel like I never run out of ideas. So this is one thing. And then another tip is, is connected, is who do you want to serve on LinkedIn? And thinking about that, then you can become creative because you're going to respond to their needs. And how can you respond to their needs in the best possible ways? And this will help you to be creative and think, what can I do to reach out to French speakers who struggle to learn English, and thinking about that, their needs, then I can be creative to respond to them. And then other tips that we talked a little bit before is have a variety of types of posts. Like as an English coach, obviously I can have posts where I teach English, but if I only do that, it will be very boring, I believe. So I'm trying to vary and think, okay, I can give tips on English learning, like really, like these ones, where it's really about the English language, where I do like poll or quiz, or I can talk about my adventure as an entrepreneur, like the post we can see now on LinkedIn, where I'm talking about a boot camp I'm doing now on communication on LinkedIn. You see, you can always improve. And a bit of lifestyle, general facts about learning that I share as well. And really look in your field, how can you separate different types of content? Sorry?
How cute.
Yeah. And then you have also some framework that you may have heard, maybe April, about uh, tofu, mofu, bofu. Do you know that?
Yes, you had mentioned that to me.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but you have categories that can fall into top of the funnel. So things that are very broad and general, and these can be your lifestyle, communicating a bit your values, things that can speak to anybody, not necessarily people within your niche.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anybody that may resonate with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have middle of the funnel. This is a little bit more specific. Let's say, as an entrepreneur, I may post things about my life as an entrepreneur, and this may um, attract or concern more people who are into entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah.
Or if I talk a little bit about marketing, it's a bit, yeah, middle of the funnel, but it comprises more things. I must say, I may make mistakes now talking about that, but this is how I understand it. Or for me as an English coach, what else could fall within that? General post maybe about learning in general, like the benefits of learning for your brain, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
passionate about neuroscience and
Awesome.
also trained into that. So sometimes I post about the benefits of learning for your brain. This can interest more people than my niche.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the bottom of the funnel. These are posts that are really targeting only your niche. And for me, it will be French speakers who need to learn English to have more opportunities. And then there, I really like have specific content, and that these posts are the ones that brings you some leads. People who want to work with you. Yeah, but it's good to have a variety of things to bring visibility, to attract, to grow your network basically. But it's good also to have in mind your focus. You're there not to have a million likes at the end of the day. You're there to do some business, get some clients, reach out to them, and yeah, generating leads.
Wow,
I hope
yeah.
that was helpful.
It was very helpful, and it's helpful for me even to go back and think about the posts that I want to create, because yeah, it is really useful to think about more general stuff and then really specific things, because as you said, the general things helps you to be seen more, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also, you are really specific in how you target to your audience, because I remember you mentioning to me that you could post things in English, but you realize that French speakers wanting to learn English, they'll be, reading more French stuff, but then they can see you as an English teacher as well. So for that reason, you've decided to create your page to be, really speak in French or to write in French on your page.
Yes.
Yeah. So even that was a strategic move there.
Yes. Yes. Really, because yeah, French speakers are more comfortable speaking French, obviously, and at the end we have to think that we really want to touch the heart as well. I don't know, um, of people, to
Uh-huh.
really for them to feel comfortable with you and feel connected. And I felt like if I write in English, the French speakers won't connect as much with me.
Uh-huh.
But it's a bit of a debate because you have other teachers who are also questioning themselves. So should I write in French, in English, or whatever? But for me, I felt the difference.
Uh-huh.
Definitely, people engage way more with me because many people who want to learn English, they lack confidence. The people who need a coach or a teacher, And that's why we always have to know who we want to serve. What are the challenges? What are their needs? And for me, in my field, I've realized that they need to build their confidence, because you have some people coming to me who really have a high level of English, I tell you, and they are really good, but they lack some confidence. And they want to first talk to you in French, and then we switch in English within the coaching sessions. So you need to take time to listen to your ideal clients and to their need and how they respond.
So good. Really, that's so good and so insightful to think about how you're speaking to the heart of the people that you want to reach. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's like a big gem from this whole podcast.
No, my pleasure.
Yes. And so let's go into more of your creative lifestyle, because like you love to sing and you're a musician, which is something I discovered later.
Yeah. It's funny because I've only discovered not long ago that I'm actually a musician. I wouldn't call myself a musician, but then it has been now more than 10 years that I'm learning instruments, but because I'm not a professional, I've never considered myself as a musician,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't have like a high level, let's say. But I remember I've started with the piano. That was like my dream instrument, and I'm still learning today. I feel like I'm forever learning. But then I've also learned the guitar. I've started with a friend. We had the challenge to start learning the guitar together. We gave up after a month. Then we were like, no, because it hurts
Oh yeah, for
the
sure.
fingers.
Mm-hmm.
But then we were like, no, we're gonna do it again, and we did it again. So this is also an instrument that I've learned. And last summer, I don't know what happened, but I needed to learn the ukulele. I was thinking about the ukulele every day, watching videos, and I was like, I have to learn it. And I bought myself a ukulele
Nice.
after training with Cambridge English, because I wanted to be certified as a reward for myself. So this
Nice.
is also something that I do, and I love singing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you want me to say about that. What
No,
else?
it's good. I just want to bring it up because I just want to show how creatives like have this mindset where we just love art and are drawn to many things, and it's like what we focus on, it will come through. Like you're focusing on LinkedIn right now for this time period, but you also have
Yeah.
different talents, and I can understand because I learned I learned the piano like many years ago and stopped and had to start again, and I'm relearning now. And I started learning the guitar. So I'm drawn to different things like that. And I'm starting to realize that many creatives, even if it's not the same thing for us overall, we're definitely drawn to things where you can express yourself and have beauty and art just shown.
Yeah, exactly. And I like how you say means to express yourself. Um, because for me, I've realized that sometimes I'm not good at to express my emotions through a conversation, through words.
Mm,
You wouldn't be able to really know how I feel just
mm,
by looking at me.
mm,
But music, playing an instrument helps me to express that, to express my emotions and who I am. And I feel like when I play an instrument, when I sing, I feel real
mm.
and authentic somehow, more than when I'm just talking. I feel sometimes I have some barriers, but through my art, let's say, my
Yeah,
creativity, I feel like I have no limit. I'm just me expressing all of myself, my heart,
yeah.
my emotions.
I love it. And I can identify with that as well. In that sometimes there are things that I just can't express, but when it comes to music, it's there. And sometimes when I listen to other songs, I'm like, you're singing what I want to say.
Yeah.
So yeah. continue with that, but um, I definitely want to ask you, like, what advice do you have for creative business owners who would like to use social media, or they are right now, but they just want to get some tips on how to use it more for their business?
Okay. My first advice would be to go for it. Just do it. Like,
Yeah.
you need to try and see how you like it. Take your time to try it. For example, um, for me, I've tried Facebook. I've also tried Instagram and LinkedIn. And I have realized that for the moment, I want to focus on one platform, getting to know it and so on. Maybe later I'll move on to others. But I needed that time to figure out a little bit where I feel more comfortable, where I want to start. And but to do that, I had to do things to
Mhm.
and we shouldn't be scared to just try, you know. And yeah, and well done for those who are trying and for those who will. And it's really a growing process, and it's a process you can only really grow as you take action. And I've realized I was writing a LinkedIn post about that lately, where I compare finding your voice when you sing and finding your voice online. And I've realized you may have 1,000 tips about how to use your voice technically, but it's only when you start singing and
Mm.
listening to your voice, taking the time, that you really find it. Because I recently, not long ago, like found my voice. I had a moment of revelation. I was really listening to it and taking the time to sing, and like, I don't know, a more mature voice came out, and
Wow.
that I could really, that you can recognize better. I don't know, with more identity, more character. And I felt like online is the same. You need to like just practice your voice until you can tune it to something you feel comfortable with. Tune it to your heart through your mouth or your words to the people you are communicating with. Yeah, I don't. I can share more, but
No, that's
uh,
good. I'm just like silent because I'm just like, that's so good. Like, I don't know what else to say. But that's really good advice. Thank you for saying that. And yeah, I'm excited to release this video or this podcast, I should say, because it is a video podcast. But anyhow, as we land the plane, I just wanted to ask you, like, do you have any books or any courses that you would recommend to others?
about more focusing on like creative strategies. Well, for me, I haven't read a lot of books on this topic. I was actually listening to podcasts. They helped me a lot.
Okay, yeah.
So I recommend this podcast now. And and really, no, but for real, I recommend following people out who are just ahead of you in the game, and observing and learning from them, and then adjusting for you.
Mhm.
At least for me, it helps a lot to observe people who are into action. Um, and yeah, or lately I was also reading more books on profiles in French. And I don't think this will benefit your listeners, because as I'm trying to reach out the French speakers, I really immerse myself into that world. I don't know if that makes sense, because for a long time I was really connected more to the English speaking world.
Mm.
Like, I've studied in English. I don't know, um, learned, was trained in English and so on. But I've realized if I want to reach out to my ideal clients, I have to be more in their world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what
No,
I
but
can
that's
say.
helpful though. I mean,
Yeah.
even though for you it's specifically in French, it's still useful for us to know that you want to immerse yourself in the culture of your clients. Because that's really interesting. Like, would you, are you bilingual, or do you know other languages?
I know other languages. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, if you come from a multilingual background, there are cultures that are associated with your languages. And, if you want to really focus on a specific language, if you're a teacher or maybe just, for other reasons, you want to immerse yourself in it, even for a while. I mean, you're still speaking to me, so it's not like you're cutting yourself off from English speakers at all.
No,
But
no, at all. I speak English to my husband, so it would be difficult to cut myself out of
awesome.
it.
Awesome. So yeah, so it's not about cutting off, but just taking the time to focus. So I love it. I just wanted to affirm that even though we said that maybe it wouldn't help us, I think it does if we just, make it relate to us and what we're trying to do.
Yeah, and you can think maybe for you language is not relevant, but you can think also about the field you want to be in. You
Mm.
know, if you want to target people working in real estate, well, following people who are working with people in this area, and getting to learn from them, because it's like every field or type of people, they have a way of communicating and kind of learning their ways,
For
and
sure.
customs.
For sure. So good. Ari, thank you so much for coming here and dropping your
Of
gems.
course,
They
thank
are
you for having me. It's fun.
yeah. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you all for listening and watching, taking the time. Let us know what you think. And, if you enjoyed this episode, what did you enjoy from it? Or any other questions that you may have that you'd like for me to address later. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a great day.